friends! Welcome back to Malohia. We're going to do one of my island tours. So I was going to go kind of in order of how I did them, but then this is the one that is just so compelling to me. I just really want to share it with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to dream my island. So you'll see the dream address. And then we are going to, what I'll do is, I think I recorded a flyover of it before I saved it. So I'll put that in there. And then when we wake up on my island, I'm actually going to go to the airport and then come in from the airport instead of from the plaza. So let's go see my island. That's my living room. There's my little bedroom. Okay, let's take a nap. Yes, I want to sleep. Hello, Luna. How are you? Welcome, welcome. The binary fields are teeming with beautiful dreams. How may I be of assistance? I want to dream. Then I shall connect to the internet to initialize a dream download. I haven't seen this island since I saved it, and that was May 9th of last year, so it's been a year. So I purposely didn't do that so it can be all exciting for me too. How shall I prepare your dream? I hope I already visited on here. Revisit a dream. Okay, let's see if I have it on here. Oh, I'm gonna hide all those so you can't visit those before I'm ready. Okay, hometown. That's the one I want to go to. You wish to revisit the island named Hometown, is that correct? Yes, it is. Splendid. Everything is now sorted. Please close your eyes and relax. Okay. Drift and compile and emerge within the dream of hometown. Here we go. Okay, so this is my hometown airport. I don't actually have an airport in my hometown. The most important reason that I made this island was the farm. So our family had a family who were our best friends. I don't know if every family has one of those, but they were our family's best friends. And my dad and their dad ran cattle together, but they had the farm, so the cows were all up there. And I would go up there and I rode horses and all kinds of other things that I will tell you about. But it was a huge part of my childhood. Like from spring to fall, I spent a ton of time up there. And I can't even tell you how amazing and grateful I am that I had that experience. How amazing it was and how grateful I am. So on this island, let's look at the map. On this island, I worked really hard to have farm-type animals that we actually had. So we had ducklings, just a couple for a little while. We had a lot of horses, so there are horses, and they ran cows, so we have a lot of cows. Always had a dog. We did, they did, a cow dog. Always had a dog. More horses and a sheep, because we had sheep, and there's a reason I chose cashmere. So these are all the important ones as far as those go. Now the goat, really I wanted to use him because he was the last goat I needed. And we didn't actually have goats, and they didn't actually have goats. But we had a friend who had goats, and when I was a kid, I was allergic to milk and had to drink goat's milk. So I felt like he was appropriate to throw in to my childhood experience. Now, if you look at the map, you can see all the houses are kind of down low. We're going with the neighborhood feel down there, and that whole top right area is the farm. My house is up there, the pink one. That is modeled after their house because it was their farm. And the farm is pretty appropriate, the part next to it, and most of the upper part and the businesses are pretty good representatives of my hometown when I was a kid. The area where the villagers are is really small, so we don't actually have good well-formed neighborhoods. But I'm super excited. Okay, let's go look. I actually kind of lined this up so that this is like the freeway entrance that you come into our town on. So this is the main street. So we'll go that way in a minute. This is 7-Eleven, because there is a 7-Eleven down on the left side of town as you come off. It's actually not to the left of this freeway entrance, but it's off to the left. And I made this the 7-Eleven, made a little post box, and of course you got like the packages and water, because you can get, I'm calling that hose an air hose, because that's where you would get air and water for your car. And always a a vending machine and a garbage can. Now, I don't remember. Yeah, we did have gas pumps. I couldn't remember if we had them when I was young, but we did. A little pothole, because, if you live in a little town, you got potholes. Probably in a big town, too. So I'm not going to go to the beaches quite yet, probably. I have no idea what I left. So let's just pick them up in case I need them. And we'll look and see what I got. Okay, let's see. I always leave tools, especially the axes. Those are the most important tools. Every island that I save, I leave axes, if I remember, so that Bill can visit my dream and destroy my island, chop all my trees down, because he loves to do that. And let's see, the pull and ladder, because in case you get stuck somewhere, but I don't think there's anywhere to get stuck on this island. And a light stick, because Bill likes them, and party poppers, because Bill likes them. Mostly, when I save my dream stuff, I save it intending it to be a happy place for my husband to come and visit. Now, the resident services, this is the city center. And we have some little art statue things, because we have statues all over our hometown, especially around the city center and such. And pine trees, cedar trees, because that's what's around down there. There's a great big giant one, and we could climb in under it because it went clear down to the ground, and use it like a little clubhouse. Wanted to have a mail truck, so there's our little mail truck. Now, if you go down Main Street this way, then you come to the little clothing store, which was called Christensen's. And all the time in the summertime, we had little sidewalk sales. And I don't know if people still do sidewalk sales, because, it's really open to theft, but there was never anybody out here. They just expected you would take it in and buy it, which, we did. So that's a little sidewalk sale. And then we had a phone booth right there on Main Street. And let's see, those are just a few houses. We'll look at those for a minute. And then this... Oh, okay, so this is a parking lot. This is just because I wanted to block the creek. We actually have a creek that runs through our town. So we're pretending this is the creek, and I wanted to block it, but I didn't want, the fencing to be like up here on the sidewalk. So I made it like a construction area so people wouldn't get hurt. So this is the parking lot for the museum. So we had a great big art museum. And it has all these statues and a little red brick pathway and some little planters. And does it have benches? I don't know if it has benches, but it had concrete benches. But, we don't have concrete benches in this place. We should. But one of the things that it had, we didn't have this when I was a kid, but now we have a statue that has an angel that's holding a child up, and it looks kind of like that. So obviously we're not going to go in the museum, but behind the museum there was this enclosed garden, and you couldn't actually get to it from the outside. You had to go inside and go up some cool spiral stairs. But this is the little garden, and I left a homework set, because I would, after school, because there was a school right behind it that had been the old high school and then became the middle school. So when I would leave school, sometimes I would come over here and come into this little garden and do my homework or just read. And there weren't very many people in there, so it was nice. And I have this is the little caretaker. There wasn't a caretaker. There was like a shed over here, a really nice. These were all stucco walls. It's all stucco. So that actually kind of fits, but there was a little stucco shelf over there. I mean, shed. So there's the museum, and that makes me happy. It's so great. Okay, let's go. Let's just do the beaches really quickly. I don't know. I think they're all mostly the same. So here's the deal. In my town, outside of the town, because we don't have beaches, we're in a landlocked area, but outside of town, it was all fields. It was just big old fields waiting to be developed. Some of them would grow hay because it was still pretty rural on the outside of town. So they had trees and just hay, a lot of fields. So this is the way I put my fields. I don't like these little, what are they called? Wheat fields. I don't like having these all lined up unless it's actually a formal farm area, because this way it just feels like those great big tall fields of tall weeds in the fields. So let's go up this way a little bit and see. I think it's just like that the whole way. Okay, and then it starts to get weeds because it becomes more rural over there. So we're gonna go back down Main Street. Let's go this way, and we'll go up that way. I think if I walk, it won't pop as much. I don't know, maybe. Let's see, anything along the way. These are I just left the neighborhood super simple. So just a little sidewalk and some flowers and a couple little touches like that lawnmower back there. But I didn't do a whole lot there because those are not the focus. And in my hometown, it's pretty simple. At least that area was when I was a kid. So hello, sweetie, you're so pretty. So we're gonna go this way. And behind the city center, there was a park. So here's the little park for the city center. It's not all the same stuff, but that's how we're going to represent it. These are a little bit nicer. They have the little garden lanterns, and the homes are a little bit nicer because as you go up on the hill, like down at the other ones are kind of like the west side, and they're just, a slightly lesser economy. What do I want to say? They don't have as much money down there. But as you go further up the hill, then it's a sign that you have a lot more money. So then from Main Street, there's this hill that goes all the way up, and there are a few houses up here on the corner before you turn to the farm that have, they have some pasture area. This would be where they would have a horse or two. And then they would have a little field of like alfalfa or something, a field of something they were growing. And then we go this way. Oh, I left these here because my friend and I used to ride our bikes all over town. So we go this way and you come up here and you turn. And this house, this man's name was Charrington. Mr. Charrington, and he had a cherry orchard. Charrington and a cherry orchard. I always thought that was so funny, and I just gave him a little old car. We had at the top of the hill there was a city utility power shed or something, and I didn't have any way to do that, so that kind of represents that. So let's go down this way. Oop, almost crashing. So we're going to go down this way, and it was paved part of the way. Oh, this is really important. So when I was a kid, we used to have milk delivered to our house. There was a dairy they were friends of my dad's. I suddenly can't remember their names. Anyway, so I wanted to have a milk truck, and that was the best way I could come up with a milk truck. We had like a cooler thing that they gave us, and they would just deliver the milk, and then it would just plastic gallons, and then did we? I don't think we ever had to put anything in them because it's not like they were glass, but we used to go through a lot of milk when I was a kid. Okay, so you go down, and it was only paved to the edge of Mr. Charrington's yard, and then it became the farm, and it was all dirt road, and it had it was, you know, kind of rocky and had not potholes, but you know, it was a bumpy road. So let's go this way. There was always heavy equipment doing various things. I don't know what project these guys are doing, but this is the barn, and we used to play hide and seek, and this would be frequently we would hide in the barn. The barn also, they never had they didn't have like horses that they kept in the barn, but they kept the tackle in the barn. So like the saddles and the bridles and things like that they kept in the barn. Here's a little thrasher. I don't remember a thrasher, but they had all kinds of these kinds of things. And then over here, if you come this way, they actually frequently, it would actually be down here, but it didn't work so well down there. They burned trash. They were the only people I ever knew who burned trash, but they did. They burned trash. And this is just a little truck because, you know, always lots of trucks. I'm having that represent like a truck and a trailer because there are no pickup trucks. Can I just say they gave us this huge update and gave us all kinds of things, and they didn't give us pickup trucks, which is probably fine for a lot of you, but I needed pickup trucks and I didn't get one, and I'm very sad. So what I did, this is that car right there that's tucked behind the tree. That's supposed to look like a pickup truck because the front kind of looks like a pickup truck, and I'm just imagining that the bed of the truck is behind the tree. So we go this way. Oh, look, I have a money tree. We go this way, and this is where the cows would be. Now, they don't have a good in-game cow to represent cows. I didn't want to use the, what do you call it? The Taurus bathtub because it doesn't look enough like cows. And I tried the ox, what do you call it? The astrological sign, the zodiac. Try the zodiac ox thing and that you get for the Chinese New Year. I tried that ox, and they were just too tiny. They didn't look good. So I just said, oh, the cows are on the mountain. They're letting the cows graze on the mountain for this part because they did that. This is our cow dog because you always have a cow dog, and they had a big thing of water that actually was running all the time, just like that one's running all the time to keep it fresh. And this is a salt lick. I don't know how many of you have seen a salt lick, but it's just a big block of salt, and they would just lick it and lick it and lick it, and it would get hollow, kind of like a great big giant chalk cube that you use for a pool. That's the best comparison I can make. So this is just a little field. That's the cow field, the cow pen. And then they had a silo. This is to represent the silo. Because their silo wasn't like the other silo in the game. They had a big metal silo, and it was dark like this one. And my friend and I actually would climb up on top, and we would read up there because she was a big reader. And so I had a friend who was younger in that family and a friend who was older, and I wanted to be like the older one, and she was a big reader. So I would read with her. And don't tell my dad, but at least once we got inside the silo when it was full, and you're never ever supposed to do that because you can actually sink down inside the silo, but we did, so don't tell him. This part, I don't know why this, I'm sure there's a reason. It was concrete right here, and then this represents that you are you would put, they had a way, these little grate things where you put hay in them, and then the cows would reach through the other side and pull it out and eat it. And then this part over here, this is the chicken coop. It was an old chicken coop. It wasn't actually used anymore, but it's another place that we would play hide and seek. It was called a farm, even though it was more like a ranch, because their grandpa it was a farm. Like they farmed a whole lot of stuff. By the time I came along, it was more like a ranch because the only thing they farmed was alfalfa. So if you come in here, this is the horse pasture. And I did like these horses. And it would just be left to grow so that they could just graze in here. So it wasn't formal. And there was a little canal that they would use to, what do you call it? To irrigate. So it would be your turn for the water and it would come in here and then you would have to put these little dividers in to help it spread into your whole lawn and then it would be empty. But one time I was riding a horse down in this end of the pasture and something spooked him and he took off running and I couldn't stop him and there's a tree here and I whacked my head on the tree as I was coming down. But I'm fine. Or that explains a lot. I don't know. One of the two. I'm going to come out here really quickly. I don't remember how much I can get up to. So there's a little tractor that's just representing a tractor. Okay, in my town, there are campgrounds up in the mountains. We have mountains right above us, and these guys went right up against the mountains. So this would have actually been way up further, like in the canyon. But, so I put the campground up there. And I put the vines up here because I wanted to make it more mountainous. That's a 4th level, so I couldn't put anything on top of it. But I did put the vines to make it feel mountainy. And we spent so much time on these mountains. We would hike up them and we would ride our horses up them. And it was super, super fun. Seriously, I can't even tell you how great my childhood was. Now, there's something I was trying to find. What am I crashing into back there? Oh, the bush? Okay. Anyway, I think we might have to go down here to find it. Let's go look this way. Maybe it's one level down. Oh, right there. There it is. So I put the skeleton there because there were frequently bones up on the mountains because either a cow would get out and something would get it, or there were a lot of deer in our area, and we actually have mountain lions too. So in the winter, they would, or dogs, wild dogs, I guess. But I think it was bobcats or whatever. They would find them and eat them. I don't know if they were always dead when they found them and ate them, but I think that's everything over there that you need to see. So let's go this way. Can I just tell you the positive endorphins I'm getting are pretty intense on this. So we went that way. We went into the field. Now this is, the gates over here. These gates are a lot like the gates that we had because they had those big green swinging gates. I don't know how many of you have seen those, but that's what most of our stuff was actually those big green swinging gates. So this is the alfalfa field. I didn't want to use the wheat fields because it's different, right? To me, this felt a lot more appropriate. And can I just tell you how long it took to get these all to 3? Because you have to water them 3 days in a row, and I had to water all of them. And this is this field. Great big giant field. Okay, they did not have a bulldozer in their field, but they had a harvester. And it would go through, and there was a rotating thing kind of, and it cuts it all. So we're calling that a harvester because there's not a harvester in this game. So that's a harvester. And then we're going to come out down this way and come down this way a little bit. And then there's this road that is down at the end of the field. And if you go up, hello, Cashmere, you go up and there's a little tractor. And look, there's me. Should we talk to me? Welcome to my hometown. Thank you, Robin. That's so sweet. And then, so there's a stump over here because there was a stump. And this tree, they had a big apricot tree here. And it had a big, long trunk that was really angled, so you could actually run right up it and get halfway up it. So that was an apricot tree, and it was my favorite. And here's another dog, because more dogs. And this cooler is meant to represent the cooler for the milk delivery. And then this tree right here, they had a white birch tree, and we would climb up this tree and sit up there and read. That's why there are books here, because we would sit up there and read. And then this, they actually had kind of a place like this. Even though the front door is over there on the right, this was the door that everybody came in. There was a sidewalk right there, and it went right up to a mud room. This was a mud room. So it was just a big, long room, the same length as the house. And then when you went inside, you were right in the kitchen. And I'll go inside in a second, but let me just show you. They had it wasn't a spinning wheel, but they had a wet wheel, like a sharpening stone right there. And this was like a root cellar in the ground. So that was a door that you could open and go down inside the ground. That was cool. Never saw that anywhere else. So let's go and see inside. Hello, are you guys home? So this is the kitchen. So I'm pretending that you're coming in the mudroom. You would have come in from the mudroom right there. And it was really simple. They had some really fun yellow wallpaper and, you know, family photos and things, and very simple food. Back then, everybody was still bottling in our area. And yum, here's the milk, because we always had milk, and because it would have been the 70s, that pot would fit in perfectly. And I just, look, pancakes, so yummy. They would, there were times when, wow, they cooked a lot more fancy than my family, although it was still cowboy food. A little bit more on the, and you know, jam and stuff. My mom, they made jam. So this is to represent the mudroom a little bit, because you'd come in the mudroom and you'd take your shoes off. That was the first place I ever went where you had to take your shoes off before you went inside. But if you're working the farm, like if you're moving sprinklers and getting all muddy, then your shoes, yeah, bad. So this is the living room, which would have been when you come in that actual front door. And these guys are here to represent that they had those really fancy horses. If I can find the name of them, then I will put it here. I loved those horses, and I used to play with them. I never had them, but I wanted them. Now I have no idea what's anywhere else. So let's go see what else they have. I just don't remember. Oh, I didn't do this room. Maybe I didn't do any of the other rooms. Well, that's embarrassing that I don't remember. I think, oh, I know I did a bathroom. Maybe that's back here, because that was back there. And I think, nope, I think everything else is upstairs and downstairs then. Because even though their house was pretty big, it was mostly, oh yeah, there's not a downstairs. It was mostly just that, wow, I didn't finish. Okay, let's try that one last room. I thought I did more than this in the house. Nope, okay. Well, truth be told, there was only so much of their house that I actually remember, because I was quite young and we didn't spend very much time in the house at all. So apparently I didn't do anything else in the house. Sorry. Suffice to say, there was a grown-up bedroom in the back. There was one bathroom on the main floor, and I think there were 3 kids' bedrooms upstairs. We had some little stairs right there, and they had a big old pine tree right there. But this is the other part of the story that I didn't tell you. Hello there, Winnie. So there's Cashmere, and this is Cashmere's house. Now this is very important, because if you go all the way down the street, you come all the way down here, and then you turn, there was an old house, just a little old house that was long empty, like almost like just a shed. It was very small, and it was called the Witch's House. And it was, you know, just very run down around it, nothing fancy, some scraggly trees. But I chose Cashmere to be our witch because, you know, she kind of looks witchy, right? If you have to have one of the farm animals in the game be a witch, Cashmere was our witch. So even though nobody was living here, and it wasn't actually a witch's house, obviously, that's what it was called when I was a kid. So it was the witch's house, and I think that's everything. I think that's the whole thing. Let me look really quickly. Oh, no, I've got a little bit more on the beaches. Let's go look on the beaches. Down this other way. First, let's see. I don't think there's anything up here, but let's double check. I think it's just trees and weeds. Can I get through there? Yeah, okay, so just trees and weeds up here. Can I just tell you how long it takes to buy that many wheat fields? A long time. And then when I finished this island, I was like, what am I going to do with all these? So I let my daughter take a bunch, and then, yeah, I just restarted the island and lost them all to the void. But I really love the way they look. I love them. Oh, I got to go up this way. So, is it right there? Oh, it's here. Okay, so let's go this way and see what's over here. Okay, so a little tractor, because out here in these fields, which were either grazing fields or working fields, there would of course be people who, there are a lot of farms down here too, so they would have tractors and be working their farms. And then let's keep going this way, and we have some, come on, some old barns and some old buildings that are just run down out in the middle of fields. Maybe old farmhouses, I don't know. And then another tractor, so that must be another farm. And then let's see what's over here. Okay, here's the deal. We don't actually have any windmills, but it felt like I needed a windmill to kind of, you know, finish the rural feeling. Oh, can't go that way. You'd end up in the creek. So there's another blocked off creek. And just the rest. I think it's just the rest. I think it's just wheat fields. Oh, I just want to go run through the fields. Can you hear? I can hear cicadas. But when I was a kid, if I were running through these fields, I would frequently hear that sound. And it was grasshoppers and stuff like that. Because if you ran through a field like that with shorts on, yeah, grasshoppers would jump and grab onto your leg. And sometimes it was scary if you were a little kid. But there we go. There's our little setup. So let's go back to the city center for just a second. And I'll show you one last thing. So this flag, I actually had made this for something else. But that's my high school flag. That's our mascot. There's a devil in there. I don't know if you can see it. But it would have been long after the time of this, the 70s when I saved this. But I don't think there's anything else fancy. I didn't actually do fancy things. It's really simple. I love that butterfly so much. It's very, very simple, but it warms my heart. It makes me so, so happy. Hey, look, a grasshopper. Perfect timing. I was just talking about grasshoppers. So I hope you enjoyed my tour of my hometown. And I hope maybe it brought you a few good endorphins, because that's what rural life and farm life and small town life is all about. Happy endorphins. And I hope you loved it. I'll see you again some other time. If you enjoyed my video, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Talk to you later. Bye.